It's actually going straight through his...
Okay, charge.
Okay, so I'm actually a little bit confused. G'day legends, welcome back to another Electrician reaction. This is part 11 in the series, and in this video I'm going to be watching and breaking down some of the most famous electrocutions from movies. Now, I'm pretty excited for this one because I'm a bit of a film buff and we might just learn some stuff along the way.
Maybe we'll just learn together, huh?
Also, make sure you watch until the end because I'm going to be reading out and commenting on one of the comments that you've left on a previous video. So let's just get straight into it. I absolutely loved this movie when I was a kid. Oh my god, okay. There's so much wrong with this. So they've got it connected to either side of the tap, which on the surface you might think might work, but actually the taps are usually connected all the way through, so you would just get a dead short. You actually need potential on the ends of both of those. So one tick for creativity. Oh, so as he's incrementally moving it up, it's sort of his reaction is getting worse and worse, which would lead you to believe that there is like more electricity.
Maybe this is too much electricity.
But the reality is that arc welders let out a ton of current to be able to melt whatever the metal is, but really, really low amounts of voltage. And you see this when people make their own arc or spot welders with microwave oven transformers. Because they are a high voltage output, they are able to cut off the secondary winding and then use a couple of loops with some high gauge wire and make like a spot welder thing. The whole thing is completely wrong, but absolutely hilarious.
I will find you, and I will kill you. Wake up! I need you to be focused.
Taken. I remember when I first watched this movie with my wife Lisa, and she was horrified. This was some seriously intense action.
Are you focused yet?
Okay, so a couple of things here. He's stuck two metal gigantic nails into his body. If that's not enough, that wouldn't hurt like hell. Looks like he's hooked it up to the mains electricity. No idea where he is. I'm assuming it was Europe, I think. It's totally possible. Depends on the impedance of his body. And it's probably the most effective way of doing it if you want to do something like this.
Where is she?
You know what's most alarming about this is that, you know, electricity passes through the path of least resistance. And whilst it looks like it's really hurting him going up through his neck and he's got all those veins, it's actually going straight through his dick. It's passing all the way across, probably going like a little bit on the chair because there'd be some capacitance in between him and the chair. Yeah, again, this is totally possible.
But it's not gonna save you.
There it is.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, an absolute classic. When I was growing up, I absolutely loved this movie. So let's just see what it's got in store. I love this as a kid, man. I was just like... By the way, if you follow any special effects stuff like the Corridor Crew, they often go over this movie. It was one of the first times they brought in some of the most realistic CGI, and it's just so impressive. But I'm meant to be going over the electrical stuff here, so the fence itself, I want you to take note. These are separated pieces of a wire, and obviously the fence is off, so the dinosaur or the T-Rex is able to break through it quite easily. Okay, so the reason I wanted to show you the other clip originally was because of the inconsistencies in this fence. The first one had no connections in between the wires, and this one does. So there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. They're usually all at the same potential anyway, but just take note.
Over the top. Take your time, Tim. That's good. Come on. Find your footing. Find your footing.
Ellie, you can't throw the main switch by hand. You've got to pump up the primer handle in order to get the charge. It's large, flat, and grey.
All right, here I go, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, charge.
Okay, so I'm actually a little bit confused here because usually an air circuit breaker, which is what she's doing, she's priming the circuit breaker, and usually that's done by a motor if you've got power. This does actually happen. I've had to do this before, but usually it's associated with low voltage. If there's anybody that is out there that works on high voltage stuff, if you use ACBs,
1, 2.
oh, I shouldn't laugh. Okay, let's break that down a little bit more. Okay, a quick lesson on how electric fences work. Now, I have done a video on Brainiac when they did this hilarious experiment on electric fences. So if you want to go over and watch that, it's a pretty good explanation. But I'll break it down really quickly, is that an electric fence delivers a DC pulsed output. And when you touch it, the way that you get an electric shock is that the electricity passes through your body to ground. So all of the electric wires are actually to a certain potential. They're all at the same potential. So the idea that he would get shocked makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Yes, the fence may have been livened up and there may have been 10,000 volts there, but you need to be in contact with Earth. There needs to be some sort of difference in electrical potential.
Clever girl.
Alright, I'm going to wrap this one up, but before I go on and read out a comment, like I said at the beginning, this one is from Transformed Photo. Mate, you are one of my biggest fans, you're an absolute legend. This is from the video, What is a Contactor and What's Inside, where I break down like electrical components. This is awesome. Thanks, mate. What was broken? Just the coil? Would you replace just a defective coil and put this back into service? Or are the contacts inside suspect now? So yeah, we actually would just replace the coil. I've actually got it here. The problem with this one is that it is a superseded model, so we can't do anything with it. Thank you so much, Transform Photo, and if you want to be mentioned in one of the videos, just make sure you drop a comment below. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and you're probably going to love this one.